What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 517th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Greg.
Hello, 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 hello. Happy Pride Month still going on. What is this,
It's
week
still
2?
June.
I don't know where we are in the month.
Yeah, I mean, Niantic's ready to celebrate Pride with you, Greg.
How?
Because they're putting a community day on the...
Yeah. On Saturday again, on Pride Day Saturday, once again it's Community Day. Which is just rude.
Maybe this is a Minnesota problem.
No, because generally the last weekend of June across the nation is Pride weekend.
Will also here.
Well, you want to talk about rude. I was up so late at Greg's party last night.
Oh, true.
And once again, I went home with a guy named Will. Thank goodness he spells it W-Y-L-L. But
Yep.
how do I get into these circumstances?
That guy showed up at my house too later.
I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it. He's that kind of guy.
He is, and I'm into it.
Oh, don't ever go to one of Greg's parties at the Howling Mine because you're going to need to take 2 days off.
Look, you had fun in the crawl space.
It was too late. We went too long.
Look, elks were there, food was there. It was
There
a
was
wild
all kinds
event.
of the music,
I had everything going.
the enchanting lyre, right? That
Yeah.
was yeah.
Not enchanting, enticing. It's
Oh,
enticing.
There you go.
No, it's entrancing. That's it.
Either
We
way.
cannot record the day after you two are together to form these bits.
Why? You were invited.
You were invited. And this is like
It's true.
for behind the scenes for our listeners. Not only was Steve invited, Steve said, I have something scheduled for that night. Oh, but I can move it to a different day so
did
that
not
I can
say
come
that.
and hang out with you guys. That is exactly what you said. And then you never bothered to move it to a different day.
Yep.
I said I could move it up in the day, but I did a charity stream today for yesterday, for trans empowerment, and our community raised $4,200. So to be fair, I feel like it's a pretty good reason to miss Magic the Gathering.
Greg's party.
My party. my super event.
So
Second party
if
you
you did
missed this year.
If you did come through our charity stream, thank you. And if you did donate, thank you. We did raise over $4,000. So that was very, very exciting. That was the charity we picked to celebrate Pride Month this month was trans empowerment. So thank you to everyone who came through. We do have some Pokemon news for you today. We have a little bit of Go. If you're curious of the Pogo Fest thoughts regarding shinies or the second bonus or whatever bonus or where we played or if it rained, Bobby and I did a whole bonus episode that's available to patrons. That's also available to Apple Podcasts premium subscribers. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what happens when you go into Apple Podcasts and you hit the little, I want to upgrade. I don't know what those people are called. Subscribers, but that you subscribe to a podcast, so they're not subscribers. This is like the YouTube Twitch problem where you subscribe on Twitch for money, but you subscribe on YouTube for free, but you become a member on YouTube for money. I don't know. There's a little, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, there's a button to upgrade to get bonus podcasts and ad free. So that's there. I will say the one thing I say at the beginning of that episode that I will say here, just for clarification, I did talk to Niantic. Oh, I guess we'll play the new news music. I guess we'll start off with Pogo because there's a little bit of Pogo news. We have stuff about Masuda. We have stuff about James Turner. We have stuff about Delphox, the 3 icons of the Pokemon Company.
Heck yeah.
I said this on the bonus podcast. I will say it here. I talked to Niantic on Sunday morning, the second day of GoFest. And they said the shiny odds this year are exactly the same as the shiny odds last year. I then talked to them on Monday morning, and they said after the entire weekend is done, we can confirm the amount of Pokemon caught this year to the shiny Pokemon caught ratio was exactly the same percentage as it was the year before. I don't know what that percentage is. I don't know if it's like 2% or 5% or I don't know, but they said it was the same. So Bobby and I do talk about why it might feel like you got less shinies because there were technically more Pokemon in this Go Fest, and more of those Pokemon could not be shiny. There was also the incense issue. If there was any issue happening in Go Fest, it was the incense was technically broken, and Niantic did tweet about that, and they didn't. I don't know if there's going to be a makeup day for that. I will also say that RNG is a really silly and dumb thing. One of the examples I use is I played every community day, and I feel like I play community days pretty hard. That's why Greg and Will leave me early, because I continue to play, and they are like, I'm done. But on Charmander community day, I played very aggressively in that 3 hours. Very first Charmander community day. In that very first hour, in those 3 hours, I only got 3 shiny Charmander. It was my worst community day ever. I played the entire time. I was hustling. I was at a spot that had plenty of stops. They were luring up. I had the incense on. I feel like I'm pretty good at playing Pokemon Go. And
debatable.
That Charmander community day, I only got 3, and I watched my wife walk over to the public bathroom area, and she clicked on Charmander. It was shiny. She caught it. The next Charmander she clicked on, it was shiny. She caught it. The next Charmander after that she clicked on, it was shiny. She got 3 in the matter of 20 seconds. And I think she ended that community day with 9. And that's what RNG is, right? Like, no control over that. You can't be good. You can't, like, get better at RNG. Well, you can't go to the gym and work out your RNG muscles.
No, that
Not yet, at least. Maybe one day you can.
I mean, there's some supplements you can take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Niantic did put out a thing saying, this is off Pokemon Go Live, we are grateful for a successful Pokemon Go Fest. There was 750 million Pokestops spun, 1 billion Pokemon caught. Trainers walked 100 million kilometers. That's a word. People were able to access and catch Shaman for the first time. The Ultra Recon Squad made their debut. And then they say get ready for the in-person Go Fest in Berlin, Germany, Seattle, Washington, and Sapporo, Japan. Tickets are still available for all 3 of those events. So yeah. And then that kind of rolls into their summer events. So they are doing the June Community Day in-person meetups. And I had a list of cities, but now I don't have the list of cities.
I got a shiny Celebi on during Go Fest because I finally finished the Jesse and James research. Oh man! And to that guy who was in the card shop on Tuesday night complaining that he wasn't able to get any shiny unknowns, it's because there weren't any.
For the unknown F can be shiny.
You said that it started on Tuesday.
Yes.
He was saying he didn't get any shiny unknowns during Go Fest.
Oh, during Go Fest they could be shiny, but they were not boosted. They were like 1 in 500.
Oh, well then you lied to me. Thank you very
my
much.
Mistake. I thought you were talking about specifically about F. Yes, F could be shiny for the first time.
If the question I asked was, can unknown be shiny? And you answer no, or you answer F can, and it starts today, you're answering a different question.
I thought you were asking, because Go Fest is already over.
People of the world, including Steve Sarumi, know this about Will Anderson. If I ask you a question that can be answered yes or no, just answer yes or
no. You know you can't
There's
answer.
No flavor. I don't want interpretation. I don't want conceptualization. I want a Boolean value, true or false.
You cannot answer true or false to anything related to Pokemon Go because there's always an if and a but and an and.
There was a very clear, can unknown be shiny? Yes.
But not all of them can.
It doesn't matter. I said unknown. That means the entire alphabet.
But the entire alphabet can't be shiny.
Out of them, of the set containing...
Out of 26, some of them can be.
They can be.
Some of them can be, that's true. Here's the real crime. We could go into podcast listing where I list off that Tower Grove is available for inactivation somewhere in Chicago. Maggie Daly Park, I don't know where that is in Chicago.
Where the Cloud Gate is next to the Cloud Gate. We've gone over this. It's literally the next one over.
White River State Park in Indianapolis has an in-person activation. Here's the thing: there's a bunch of you can go to Niantic's website to see if your city has in-person activations. I still don't know if this is worth it to go because the one I went to rained out. Columbus, Ohio, is hosting the North America International Championships, the NAIC, the biggest in-person event that isn't Worlds in North America. It's in Columbus, Ohio. I had a plane ticket booked, and I have recently canceled that trip because not only was my ticket $700 to fly to Ohio, which is way too much money to go to Ohio. The hotels around the convention center where the NAIC are being hosted are not only all sold out, but the remaining hotels are anywhere between $900 to $1,200 a night.
Heck no!
Oh, no.
Nothing in Columbus worth that much.
Exactly. And I was going to split it with a friend, and she I don't know where she was traveling from because I've never actually met her in person. But I was like, when she said like, oh, hotels were $600, I was like, oh, that's not too bad. Like, I would love to split a $600 hotel because then that's only like $300. And then she was like, oh, I didn't book. And I was like, oh, great. I mean, I can book, no big deal. And when I was looking, it was $900 to $1,200. And I got back to her and I was like, I think I have to cancel. Like, I can't with good consciousness book this much money for Columbus, Ohio.
With good what?
Like
in good conscience. That's what he meant.
That's
in
what I heard.
Good
Consciousness
conscience.
Yeah.
is
She
like
will knows what I'm trying to say.
I knew what you were saying too, but nobody else does.
But I booked. I registered for the Pokemon Go so I could play competitive Pokemon Go because that's what I wanted to do. Literally all year, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go to." First, I was going to go to Orlando, Florida, to play Pokemon Go, and the whole Florida event got canceled by Pokemon. And then I was going to go to Indiana to play Pokemon Go, but the same thing happened in Indiana that's happening with Ohio. Like, I don't want to spend $700 to fly to Indianapolis. There's nothing there. It's a bad state. I'm sorry to all our if you live in Indiana, you know your state is bad. It's okay.
Not all of Indiana is bad. There are outside of Fort Wayne. Actually, most of the state is nice. And
then I think the other place to play Pokemon Go is Milwaukee, but I registered for Sword and Shield. So I mean, I had $60 down the drain. I guess not to go to Ohio, but I can't. There was another thing that like bothered me, which was I'm going to Germany the week after. So ideally I get back from Ohio on Monday and then I get on a plane to go to Germany on Wednesday. And I can't risk getting sick in Ohio and then canceling the Germany trip is way more important. And oddly enough, significantly cheaper.
Well, people want to go to Germany.
But you didn't raise the big true issue of the Columbus, Ohio, North American Pokemon Invitational or whatever, international, unless that's later in the news.
Oh, the reason I brought up Ohio is because of all these in-person activations, Columbus, Ohio is not one.
But and why is that also an issue?
Because Deino Community Day is that weekend.
Put the pieces together. They scheduled Deino Community Day in the middle of the North American International Pokemon Championships.
And
the
Pride.
Same day. Thanks, Janine. Because
Yeah,
you know what,
Janine's
Janine?
out of control.
Nobody
Janine is
knows
out
your
of control.
phone number, Janine, but people know my phone number and call me to complain about the fact that Deino Community Day was scheduled on the same day as the championships.
It's not even the same. It's the same weekend, which is like we've seen this time. Like the. If some of y'all don't remember, a game called Pokemon Sword and Shield came out on a Friday, and that weekend, that same exact weekend, on that Friday, the UK championships were taking place. I don't remember. I don't know if it was called the European International Champion. I don't know if it was called the British International Champion. I don't know. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the same tournament that's happening in America was happening in Europe. The same exact weekend that Sword and Shield launched, and they were still playing Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, because that was the main competitive game, even though Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee was out. And then also that Saturday, the day after Sword and Shield came out, it was Chimchar Community Day. Mm-hmm. I get that they want all Pokemon fans to experience a Pokemon weekend, but like, come on. Like, you don't think some of your competitive players want to participate in Community Day? You don't think that half your player base buying Sword and Shield want to just enjoy Sword and Shield for that weekend? At least put it on Sunday. And even if it was like, okay, Sword and Shield trainers, you can take 3 hours to go catch some Chimchars. Yeah, sure, we can. But like, if you performed halfway decent on Friday, you are stuck performing on Saturday. Like, realistically, there are only 16 people in the VGC that are going to play on Sunday because it's going to be like top 16 or top 8, right? Like, at least put Community Day on Sunday then. It's not unheard of.
Well, apparently it is.
And it's the same thing here. It's like you don't have an in-person meetup in Columbus, Ohio, which is mind-boggling to me that you wouldn't want, like, out of like, I'm looking at this whole map, and there's a lot of cities picked, and that's great. That, you know, and for the record, Niantic does hire like third-party people to represent Niantic at these events. But why would you not want a Niantic tent and like make a big deal in the city that is hosting this huge Pokemon tournament? Also, again, Deino is on Saturday. There's so many competitive players that are kind of forced to play on Saturday that probably want to participate. And when there's only going to be like a top 8 or a top 16, that's not 200, 400, 500, 700 people. Why is it not on Sunday? Anyways, Deino Community Day, Saturday, June 25th from 11 to 2. Deino will appear more frequently in the wild. Surprise. You know, we said this was going to happen. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Niantic put Axew in raids. Mm-hmm. Axew follows the same thing as Hydreigon, Dratini, Mareep. They're all dragon Pokemon. The Mareep was a joke, but actually not really a joke. It does eventually turn into a dragon.
It does become a dragon.
Tyranitar, these pseudo legendaries.
Do you think they like being called pseudo?
I know. They're legendary in my heart.
They're legendary across. Arcanine is listed as legendary.
The legendary Pokemon.
Not pseudo nowhere. The only thing fake here is Sudowoodo.
I do like Sudowoodo, though. There's no doubt in my mind that Axew doesn't get its own community day, right? We said this to the lead up of GoFest. Like, don't spend money on Axew raids and then be like,
it's coming eventually.
Right. You struggling to get a Tortuga out of eggs in Pokemon Go? Don't worry. They'll make it easier in the future. They always do. But if you want to participate in Deino Community Day, let me tell you what there is to offer. 1/4 the hatch egg distance when incubators are placed into eggs. 2 times the catch candy. 2 times the catch candy excel from catching Deino. Lure modules will last 3 hours. Incense will last 3 hours. Take a few snapshots for a surprise. One additional special trade, and trades made will be trades made during the event up to 5 hours afterwards will be 50% less Stardust. Also, because it is the season of Go, which is still a bad name, in my opinion, for this. It's just a bad name because your game's called Pokemon Go, and when I say Season of Go, it just sounds like I'm saying it's a season, and I don't know what the name is, but the name is Season of Go. You do get 2 special trades a day, meaning on GoFest, you will, or sorry, not GoFest, Community Day, you will have 3 special trades total, and all of them will be 50% less Stardust. I do want to say, ever since just not trying to defend Niantic, but I do want to lay out here that these are like double the bonuses of previous Community Days. They started this when they removed the 6 hours, went to 3 hours with Stuffle, and we're like, we're going to give you more bonuses for the shorter amount of time so you don't have to play as long. Which, I will still say, that worked for Stuffle. Like, I got way more Stardust, way more candy, way more whatever in the 3 hours than I did playing all 6 hours. That's not the complaint people see. People want the flexibility, but
I mean, more of the stuff I never use, again, is not a value add. If you don't use it, it doesn't add value.
I use it all.
Yeah, but you're also not right in the head.
That's true. I also would play the entire 6 hours because I was out of my mind.
Because that's who you are, right?
Yes.
Like saying the most obsessed person is the prime example is not a good example.
I know the flaws in my logic.
I'm just making sure everybody else knows the flaws in your logic.
If the time thing wasn't an issue, I think cutting Community Day to 3 hours and giving you the same amount of rewards is very respectful of your time. Like, why would I I have plenty of things to do in the day. So giving me 3 hours back, but at the end of that 3 hours, I'm getting the same rewards as 6 hours, I think is fantastic. But again, the problem is, when can I play? So Niantic has a solution for that, possibly. So let's talk about that. So there's bonuses for groups. Work together with other trainers to unlock additional bonuses. So they've done this before. They've done this twice before. One for Geodude, one Community Day, one for Stuffle Community Day. I believe Stuffle Community Day, if you caught a bunch of Pokemon Stuffle around a lure module, it will activate like double Stardust, I think it was, or 4 times Stardust. And then for Geodude, I think it was if you caught a bunch of Geodudes along a lure module. I never had that happen because I played in the rain and that didn't actually happen. It was like 4 times the catch bonus, I think. This time around, they're saying if enough Pokemon are caught around a single lure module, wild Zweilous will appear near the stop. But they're not saying the Zweilous could be shiny. Just
It
Zweilous.
doesn't have the shiny symbol by it.
It does not have the shiny symbol. The symbol. I think the reason why you would just get more candy from it. You would just pin-app it, get more candy because it's an evolution, maybe more XL candy. It's like an okay bonus. I think maybe they should have started off with this for, I don't know. I guess like you could at least visually see it happening. Whereas when we did Stuffle, Greg and I were like,
Did it happen?
Are we getting to Stardust? I don't know. Like, okay, here's the new thing here. Brand new, first time ever. We're excited to announce that trainers can look forward to more fun during Community Days. After the 3-hour Community Day ends, trainers will be able to challenge unique 4-star battles, claiming one in victory will... Okay, I think they changed this a little bit from when I'm going to just start over here. We're excited to announce that trainers can look forward to more fun during Community Day. After the 3-hour Community Day event ends, trainers will be able to challenge unique 4-star raid battles. Claiming one in victory will cause more Deino to appear around that gym for 30 minutes. Please note that Community Day bonuses listed above in the event bonuses and bonuses for group section only apply to the 3-hour Community Day. 4-star raid battles. So they took away 2 and 4-star raid battles when they revamped the raid system, which in my opinion was a good change. Because no one wanted to do 4-star Nidoqueen raids for a non-shiny Nidoqueen that didn't give you any bonuses. Zweilous will be appearing in 4-star raids, band together to emerge victorious. These raids can only be accessed with raid passes and premium raid passes. Remote raid passes cannot be used. When you complete the 4-star raid battles, when you defeat Zweilous in 4-star raid battles, Deino will appear in a 300-meter radius around the gym that hosted that raid for 30 minutes. If you're lucky, you may encounter a shiny one. The cliff note says here, Deino will appear under these circumstances, will have the same chance of appearing as a shiny Pokemon that appears during the 3-hour event period. There will also be the $1 field research for Deino if you want to spend the dollar. There will also be Deino stickers. There will also the Deino hat that you were able to earn a year ago. You can just buy it now for 150 Pokemon coins. And that's it. That is the community day. That is the event. I think there was a lot of confusion around the Deino details here.
The Deino details.
the DD, the Deino details.
Is this the Flintstones here?
I'm gonna grab a YouTube comment right now from last week's episode. This is from Tom. They say, "Hey guys, loving the podcast as always. As I'm sure you'll mention the next upcoming week, the Deino Community Day is banning remote raids for Zweilous. Could you help us understand how scaling back everything in Go, Incense 3-hour community days, removing remote raids actually helps Niantic? I am so confused. I already missed Geodude Community Day due to last-minute personal reasons. I was out in the afternoon. I could have benefited from the usual 6 hours. Now remote raids look to be on the way out. Does Niantic actually want people to play less?"
Yes.
So,
No.
remote raids are not on the way out. I think, at least when I talk to Niantic, and I'm always very cautious of what I can say or what I'm allowed to say, they admitted to the creator group that remote raids were hurting the in-person experience. And I think that is pretty obvious to people who say there's no one to do raids with anymore, right? Like, I don't have that problem. I can go to Mall of America. I can go to a park in Minneapolis, and there are people to raid with, right? I know I'm not the problem, but it really, not an eye-opening thing, but a thing I know that was happening for quite a while is, like, I stream on Twitch, and I stream Pokemon Go, and when I was streaming 16 hours of GoFest, people would come in and they would be like, I wish I had people in my community to play with, because they would see how many people were around the park or where we were at the zoo, and there was a lot of people, and we would jump into raids. And like Will, Greg, and I didn't talk to anyone, but when we would jump into a raid, like we talked to that one dude asked us if we were going to do that like Kyogre raid.
Yeah.
But like every raid we jumped into, did we invite people? Yes, but there were also just people joining the raids that were in the area. And there was tons of people that came through my stream that were like, again, I wish there's no one goes to the park anymore. Everyone just remotes raids. So there's this is on Niantic's shoulders now to be like, we want remote raids did this, and how do we keep remote raids but get people to go back out to the park, so then people can be like, I have a community once again. Because I've had it where I've gone to a community day in the middle of January to a park I normally gone to, and when it's really cold out and when there's a pandemic and when your Pokemon isn't that exciting and you get to the park and there's no one there, you go, well, I guess I'll do one lap and go home because no one's here. And I think we talked about this a month ago, like, whether or not you're actually talking or communicating with people, you're still benefiting from other people existing in that area, whether that's lures or being able to jump into raids. So does Niantic want to actually have people play less? No. And I think the Zweilous thing is weird because I think people like to complain just for the sake of complaining. You don't want to remote raid into Zweilous. You don't want to pay $1 to remote raid because you get really nothing from it. It's not a challenging raid. You could spend that $1 on a 5-star and get way better rewards. It can't be shiny. I don't know why you would want to remote raid into it. The whole point of the Zwilus is for me, Will, and Greg to be like, there's a Zwilus. It's 3:00. We'll do it. Now we have now when we're sitting at B-Dubs doing the Zwilus raid while we're enjoying our dinner at B-Dubs, now a bunch of dinos are going to spawn around us because we did the Zwilo raid.
Yeah.
If I invite Nick from Boston to join us in the Zwilus raid, can he help us do it? Yeah, but we don't need his help. Like, we can do Zwilus. I could probably solo Zwilus. So, like, yeah, he's spending $1 to catch a Zwilus, but, like, you're getting double catch candy that day. You literally have to catch 3 dino with pinup berries to evolve it to get Zwilus. Like, if anything, they're saving you money. Don't do this. Like, don't invite remote raid people to do the Zwilus. There's no benefit to that.
If people would rather pay money than do your thing isn't fun.
True. But this is a situation where it's kind of sus if you'd rather pay money. Especially when you just came off 3 hours where you could have gotten enough dinos to evolve a dino into a Zwilus.
There are good enough reasons. Like, they did this one smart. Is it a sign of where they want to go? I don't know.
What do you mean by smart? Sorry.
Like, it's a 4-star raid, so it's unusual. It doesn't stop anything from happening in Community Day. It is a bonus thing that can happen in an effort to see if that's enough to get people out. I don't think it is. But at least they aren't taking away from 5 stars, which are predicted, 3 stars, which are generally bad anyways. Like,
yeah, there's not a lot of 3 stars that are worth it.
It is a unique slot that they're sliding something into so that the impact is less. I am not confident enough in how corporations work to say that this isn't the first salvo in getting rid of remote raid passes.
They're not getting rid of remote raids. I've talked to Niantic several times in the last month about remote raids. They have zero desire to get rid of remote raids.
15 years ago, nobody was getting rid of unlimited plans, and then they did. Like that's what they say now. Who knows what the future happens, and who knows how this will change that decision. Like, I am not comfortable in saying that because they're saying that now, but they're also doing this, that those two aren't tied together. Because I know how corporations work, and I know the decisions that they make. And this could be a test to see if they can eventually phase out remote raid passes completely. We don't know.
I do know, because I've talked to Niantic specifically.
Yeah, and I've talked to a million companies that say, we'll never do that. And then 2 years later, they do exactly that, because they'll say things to get you off their back, and then 2 years later, they change their mind. I'm saying this, every corporation has a complete history of doing that.
But this is a bad example to be like, this is a test to see if they would phase out remote raids, because there's no point to remote raid this.
Nobody said that. They just said he just said it could be. I can also give the contrasting argument that we've said, hey, don't turn things off. Just make the incentive to do something better, right? The thing you want people to do, right? And this is an example of that.
Yeah.
We want people to raid in person. Okay. If you do the Zwilus raid in person, you get a benefit.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think this is a good way to say it, but I am not convinced, knowing how every company works, that we can sufficiently say that this isn't a step of tests to get rid of remote raid passes.
If I was to guess what's going to happen to the future of remote raids, it's going to go from $1 a pass to $2 a pass. It is going to turn into a Team Rocket radar. And you can skip battling 6 Team Rocket grunts and you can spend $2 and get that radar. And to be honest, I kind of think it's worth it at this point, because 6 grunts is not only a time sink, but not fun at all. if they were to ever pull the trigger of removing remote raid passes, they have not done the thing that they said they're going to do, which is increase the price to what they envision the. I don't know what the original price is supposed to be because they keep saying that it's been discounted. It's been discounted. It's been discounted. I don't know what the original price of remote raid passes are, but they have said that remote raid passes is hurting the in-person experience, and they don't want to remove that. So they need to do something to then balance it out. And I do think this is a good balance. I do think that, like, if Greg and I are doing community day and Will is running late because he's clanging and banging at the gym and he arrives to Mall of America and he's only caught one shiny dino so far, I think it's great for the three of us to jump into a raid. We can use our free raid passes because you get the free raid passes. We do the dino. Now there's more dino spawning.
Yeah, because you guys are too greedy to trade me each one shiny dino. Thanks a lot.
I would trade you. I tried to trade, and
there was a
no.
miscommunication in the original press release. I think it said you needed 10 people to do it. That was just like the basic in-game bad suggestion. Because when you do like a 1-star raid, I think it says like you need 3 to 4 people to do this 1-star raid, but like in reality you don't. And I think when you do a 3-star raid, I think it says you need like 7 to 8 people to do it, but like most level 40 players can solo a 3-star raid themselves.
You just said it, right? It's 7 to 8 normal people, 3 freaks who are over 40.
So Niantic did clarify that realistically, if you were one of those hardcore players, you could probably solo this. If you were not a hardcore player, it would probably be about 3 people to do Zwilus. So yeah, you'll be able to jump in, do it. I saw comments on Twitter of like, oh, now Niantic is making us pay for Community Day. The 3-hour Community Day is still there. It's totally free. It's the same thing it always is. This is just like, if you want an extra 30 minutes and you have your free remote raid pass and you and a friend are standing there, just remote in, like not remote in, but like jump into the raid and do it, and then now you have more dinos. On the flip side, if also you don't need any more dinos, then don't do the raid. Like, my issue with what this could be is, okay, I'm at the park. I've done the 3 hours. There's 7 gyms here. Only one of the gyms is doing dino. And then we do the dino, and then none of the other gyms spawn dino. Like, that is my issue. Like, is that going to happen?
Like, you mean Zwilus?
Oh, so yeah, sorry, it was Zwilus.
I was like, why would we care about dino?
I can control how many Zwilus raids I'm doing. I can't control where or when they're appearing. And that has always been my issue with Community Day is if I'm at the park for 3 hours and there's 7 gyms and throughout that entire 3 hours only 2 raids have spawned and it's like Geodude and Nidoqueen, like I don't want to do those. Like again, Niantic, just like grab the legendary lever and just crank it up during Community Day because like that's easy money for you. People are out. They're going to jump into it.
Well, you should walk to another gym. It's only 50 miles.
Got it. Okay. Did we answer all that person's questions?
List them off again.
I think so.
Can you help understand how scaling back everything Incense 3 hours Community Day, removing remote raids actually helps Niantic? The 3-hour Community Days is what Niantic has said. I will give you what Niantic has said. The 3-hour Community Days is to force more people to play at the same time, which goes back to people saying they don't have a community, therefore forcing everyone to play at the same time will restore that community. The Incense actually is the same reason. It forces people to go to a park instead of playing at home, which gives you the sense of community. Removing the remote raid passes only specifically for Zwilus, I think is the most logical. Like, you don't want to remote raid into these anyways. It forces you to go out because, like, again, if you are working from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and you're literally getting off work when Community Day ends, you can go to a park meet up with a friend, ideally a community maybe, and then be able to get your Zweilous that way. So all of your questions goes to Niantic desperately trying to force people to play together.
Also, when playing together, seeing what groups of people do as far as advertising, where they visit, where they spin, is really valuable information. So if they get a bunch of people doing that for 3 hours, that information is way more valuable than a bunch of people spread out for 6 hours.
So this game has existed for 6 years.
One way that
people's patterns change over 6 years, especially post-pandemic.
That's true.
One way
getting people to clump together and then all make a decision to see what's popular is a great advertising sale.
One way that I frame this that's not Dark State Greg.
Yeah, I don't know what like Netflix series that Greg has watched over the pandemic, but we got
So one way that I like to think about it, or I like to think that Niantic is thinking about it in a more beneficial, less evil way, is that they want Community Day and they want their events to be similar to like a concert or a play, right? Something you go to and experience as a group, not a television show, sit at home and watch it on your own. They want it to be an event that you schedule, you go to, you experience as a group. And that's why they're trying to architect it so that it functions in that way. That's it.
Yeah, they do want it to be a thing where like I text Greg and Will being like, what are we doing for Community Day? Like,
leave it on read.
But no, it's not even with your friends, right? If I want to go see a show at First Avenue, I don't have to tell the 499 other people who want to see that band, hey, we've got to all go to First Avenue. We just know, right? That's a good place to see a good show or to see the band, or in the Pokemon terms, to get the Pokemon that I'm looking for. Right, and we're all going to be in that same place because it's an event and it's a shared experience event.
I think the Zweilous raids are good, like a good concept. I don't know how they will look in execution. I guess we'll find out. I don't know if can you just chain Zweilous raids until like 3 a.m. Like, is there going to be that one player that like just...
Oh, there's going to be that one player.
Wait, I thought raids turned off at a certain time in the day.
They do. I'm just saying, like, I mean, if Community Day ends at 2, how long is a single person going to chain Zweilous? You know, there's going to be one person that tries to, I'm sure, but I think it's. I'm glad they're trying something new. I'm sure it will break. Who knows if they'll stick around with it? Even, I was thinking of like, even if they do the thing of, you can either play at 11. I was thinking like, you remember the ticket where it was like, I want to play normal, easy, hard. I want to do catching, battling, or whatever. I could definitely see them in the future doing like, pick your time for Community Day. Do you want to play in the morning or do you want to play in the afternoon? But I feel like you're still going to get... It'll be better, right? Obviously, more choices are better, but you're still going to get the amount of people being like, I can't play any of these times. I work on Saturdays. Why isn't it Sunday? Like, it's a tough thing to do when you have a global game and you're saying the whole world play at 11 to 2 in your time zone, and not everyone can. So... maybe the Zweilous relieves a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. For at least being like, hey, me and my wife, we have a kid, we weren't able to go out, we can go to Target, there's a Zweilous raid here, we'll do the Zweilous raid, now we can catch dinos as we're trying to pick out a new espresso machine at Target. Like, that is a new possibility that did not exist before. But, assuming that the Target has a Zweilous raid, like again,
assuming.
I don't know how often the Zweilous are going to spawn, so that's kind of like the my worry about it is like I want to do it, but the raids aren't happening.
And if it makes your mind feel better, think of it like, say it's the touring performances of Moulin Rouge, right? No matter how much you want that to be at a time that's convenient for you, the theater's only going to have it at one particular time when all the actors and everybody can get together.
Well, 2 times on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Okay. Yeah, but then you get the understudies at the
Not
matinee
necessarily.
performance.
Look, matinees are... Boy. Matinees are matinees.
Let's take a break. We got a bunch of non-Pokemon Go news to talk about, so we will be right back. And we are back from our break. This is off Pokemon.com. Delphox and Season 8 Battle Pass are now available. Fennekin, Braixen, and Braxton?
Braixen.
Fennekin evolves at level 3. Oh, sorry. Learns Will-O-Wisp and Ember at level 1 and 3. Evolves at level 4. Then evolves again into Delphox at level 6. That seems like really low, actually.
Yeah,
I feel
it's low.
Garchomp is like 9.
Oh boy, is Delphox powerful right now.
Delphox has Fire Blast. Ember can be upgraded to Mystic Fire. At level 7, Will-O-Wisp can either change into Fire Spin or Flame Charge. Delphox Unite move is called Fanic Fireworks?
Fanciful Fireworks.
The show-stopping attack deals damage over time to opposing Pokemon within the effective area. The opposing Pokemon damaged by Fanciful Fireworks have their movement speed decreased and their HP recovery effects weakened for a short time. It's a ranged attacker. So that would be the same classification as like a Cinderace or
like a lot of things right now in that game. But Decidueye, Ninetales, who else is a range attacker? There's so many range attacker, and we don't have another speedster yet. Still, they only have 4.
Because it's a useless class. Like they're just attackers, but like slightly less health, slightly.
But they go fast.
Speed.
They're like Sonic.
I would say that there is a useless class because there's still a lot of people that play them and do very well in the jungle area.
Yeah, but like the amount of Cinderaces or other attackers like Venusaur that just do jungle instead. Like there's really no disadvantage to putting an attacker in a jungle.
I will say it. Delphox is OP right now. I'm happy. At least the takes they have on the moves are somewhat. I haven't seen them on other Pokemon. I'll say that. At least in this way, Fire Blast that shoots forward, and then the trail at least behind it explodes, which is fun. But the one that everybody likes is when you're trying to run away from Fire Spin. Because it just follows you. And if
Does Charizard have Fire Spin? Like I've sat in a Charizard's Fire Spin and been like, oh well, this sucks.
But does the Fire Spin does it follow you around the the board?
It sits on the map and like burns, so you like blocks a spot.
This one, you launch it at somebody. If they aren't in it, it follows them. It tracks them and tries to catch them.
Fireworks that does that?
No.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Fire Spin. So like if I see a Venusaur here and they're running, I can put the Fire Spin here and it follows them, just nicking their heels. And if they get caught in it, it spins them around. Whereas the big Fire Blast on the ground that Charizard doesn't move. It's just a big place.
It's just like damage over time.
Yeah. Fire Spin is wild. I love it. Of course, everybody's playing Delphox right now, so I've gotten to play Delphox in a match twice.
Yeah, it's like the Duraludon problem where like literally everyone was running Duraludon because it was so powerful.
Yeah, I mean,
also, I did play Unite like a week ago, Greg. They did not fix Duraludon's sound. When it attacks, it's so much louder than everyone else's.
As it should be.
And even if you're not, like, I'm not playing Duraludon. It's just the other Duraludons on the field. That, like, it's so triggering how loud it is.
Very loud. It is still very loud. I mean, I generally just turn... Whenever I'm playing it, I turn sound way down anyways, because there's nothing in there that I want. There's almost none of the sounds that I want. I'm fine having it just low-level quiet. There is no way. I would say this. I highly doubt we are not going to see some sort of nerf come to this character.
Well, even like reading it and not seeing it in action, the fact that it evolves at 6.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Gardevoir is like 8. Garchomp is like 9.
Gardevoir is at 8, and I think they were going to lower Gardevoir, or they did lower Gardevoir because it was really bad. But yeah, it evolves fast, and the 2 attacks that at level 6, Fire Blast is huge. And then at 7, it gets Fire Spin, and it's a monster right now. It's a fun monster, but it is a monster right now. I don't think I've ever seen anybody yet use Mystical Fire or Flame Charge. Like, I've not even seen anybody pick those. Because why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nerf that I think is coming. They're going to bump those other 2 down so that the other options
2 moves are picked.
So that you at least feel like you have a choice.
But this is not a Unite thing, though. This is like every MOBA, every
MOBA.
hero shooter is like the new character is overpowered because they want people to buy it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because they didn't really overpower Espeon, and they gave Espeon away for free. But they overpowered Delphox for money.
How much is it? 10,000 points? Yeah.
I was sitting on 36,000 coins, so I was like, bye.
Yeah. This is off Kotaku. Pokemon Pioneer Game Freak's co-founder Masuda leaves studio for bigger role. This was actually last week, but I was like, they're not going to give us any news this week. And they didn't. There was nothing. There's just this. That's fine.
Which, it's also a kind of a clickbaity title.
This is a little clickbaity.
Yeah, it's a clickbaity title.
Anybody who's been paying attention has noticed that he's been shifting his position over the past, 8 years.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Hardcore shifting. Like,
X and Y was the last main series game he directed.
Which was 2013, 9 years ago.
When I use the word main series there, he did direct Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee as main series, and he did direct that. But that is a remake. I was talking like brand new world.
Right.
That was X and Y. Masuda's Game Freak's former managing director has stepped down from the company's role to take up a far new senior position at the Pokémon Company as Chief Creative Fellow. Masuda had a pivotal role in creating the development of the Pokemon franchise. He was a programmer on Pokemon Red and Blue. He then became the director of mainline series games from Ruby and Sapphire to Pokemon X and Y. I think he also directed Black and White, if I remember correctly.
But isn't that saying it's
so.
from Ruby and Sapphire all the way through X and
Y? No,
Y?
because he didn't direct every game in between.
I see.
Like Omori directed Black 2, White 2. And then somebody else, I can't remember the guy who directed Platinum. Anyways, alongside these roles, he frequently created the music for the series 2, as well as being directly involved in naming and designing many of the monsters. I don't know about designing many of the monsters. I don't actually know that. Kotaku, I think that is slightly incorrect. He is now extended from a more powerful position with more responsibilities as Pokemon franchise as a whole. The developer worked on every mainline game in some capacity. That is true. And even the person who wrote the base game concept documentation for Pokemon Go. That is also true. A lot of people I don't think know this, but Masuda was the one that made like the touchscreen. This is an audio podcast. This doesn't work even on video. But like the swirly fling the Pokeball with your finger. That was like his concept.
Didn't he also make the music for GoFest?
Yes, he made all the sounds that you hear in Pokemon Go.
The ones that you turn off, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're terrible. In 2018, Masuda made it clear that he was ready to move on from directing Pokemon titles, telling the official Pokemon website that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was the last time he would be at the helm. He wanted the younger generation at Game Freak to get a chance with the series. 4 years later, he has officially left the studio, but not the franchise. taking on the splendid title of the Pokemon Company's Chief Creative Fellow, which sounds like it would be a rank up, where it seems like his role will be continuing to innovate the approach of the Pocket Monsters. This new title gives him far greater responsibility for Pokemon overall, including the card game, screen adaptations, brand management, etc.
I mean, it's a big step up. Like that. I mean, that is a huge job promotion.
I don't know. I kind of see it in a different way. I see it more as it's like he's like, I'm ready to retire, and they're like, well, we don't want to lose you, so let's put you into this position where you can consult on a lot of things, but you don't have to produce, right? You can give your input, but you don't have deliverables.
That's a huge promotion in corporations.
I mean,
We're going to put you into a spot where we pay you a lot of money and you barely have to work.
Yeah, it's the we don't want to lose it. But it's not like he's going to be this big decision maker.
No.
He's going to set the direction for where Pokemon. No, it's like we don't want to lose you. We value your input, so we will continue to pay you without
a lot
you
of money.
having to like give us a soundtrack every 2 years and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think that this is a very specific future thing that they're prepping for. So he was directly involved in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl in some capacity. We don't know what it was. But they gave Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl to Ilka, unfortunately. And then they put Masuda to be like, hey, watch these people make this game. And at some point, he would have had to say, yes, this is good enough, ship it. And I think that that's what they needed going forward. They needed a person to look at these games that Game Freak is not doing and say, is this good enough? You would know you've worked on all these games. So if anything, this to me is, we need Game Freak to continue making new Pokemon games, but we need to continue double dipping and go and producing other Pokemon games because we need this constant flow of Pokemon games. And we needed a person to look over the other companies that will be making these other games. So if
like
anything,
a
it's
brand
like
consistency officer.
Yeah, so if anything, it's to me, it's we definitely know. I shouldn't say definitely. In my opinion, it is that Game Freak is not making a Black and White 3 or a remake of Black and White. It is another company, whether that's Ilka or somebody else, is making that when that time comes. And Masuda is in a position where he will be overseeing it at the Pokemon Company, because Game Freak shouldn't technically be overseeing another Pokemon project. It would be the Pokemon Company that would be overseeing a Pokemon project. Because Game Freak needs to focus on their own stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Game Freak didn't go over to Pokken Tournament and be like, how you guys doing over there, Bandai Namco? Like, no, the Pokemon Company was the people that went over there. That's what I think. They put him in a position where they are now more comfortable with non-Game Freak Pokemon games, and he's going to oversee that. That's what I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's good and bad, right? Like, I think it's good that Game Freak doesn't have to overextend and try to make 6 games at once. I think it's bad that we've learned that Ilka really dropped the ball hard on just remaking a game.
It was the first. It was the first one.
Yeah, it was their first one.
It was a faithful remake.
It was, there was some faithfulness to that remake indeed. Minus the, anyways. Good for him, though. Good for him moving up. I don't think that's, I think for the average Pokemon fan, that means literally nothing.
Nah. I mean, these are sort of internal shuffling and internal divisions of labor that are really wild and complicated and mostly will do nothing.
Yeah,
like,
and I don't think there was a situation before that where he wasn't just involved in all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like he was a very powerful Game Freak employee. Like when people think of Pokemon, they think of Masuda, which is funny because like Masuda got blamed for a lot of stuff around Sword and Shield, even though he wasn't the director of Sword and Shield. And like no one ever blames Ishihara, the president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. Like Ishihara's name is rarely ever brought up. Like Amori's name is rarely ever brought up, even though Amori directed Sun and Moon, Black and White, like Sword and Shield. Like no one brings up Amori, no one brings up Ishihara. Sometimes people bring up Sugimori, but they're literally bringing up Sugimori for his art style. Like Masuda's name is the name that gets brought up time and time again, even though he didn't work on specific games.
Yeah, but he has a method named after him, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's
when you get a method named after you, you are going to be the point that everybody is like, that's the problem. This method, and it's Masuda's method.
I'm waiting for the Amori method.
What is that going to be?
Hopefully soon. This, I think, I thought the Masuda getting a job change was a pretty big deal, at least for our show, because we're more hardcore fans here.
True.
But I think this really blindsided me here. This is off Nintendo Life. Former Pokemon art director reveals Plucky Squire, his first game from his new studio. Again, this is wild to me. Yesterday, Pokemon artist James Turner, known in recent times as the art director of Pokemon Sword and Shield, announced he moved on from Game Freak and he formed a brand new studio with an old friend, and the studio is called All Possible Futures. Turner at the time teased the studio's first game, stating it would be taking place very soon, and sure enough, the game was revealed during Devolver Digital's latest presentation. Devolver Digital is they're a publisher of games, and in my opinion, I think they publish pretty good games. Honestly, they have a pretty good track record if you look at their game library of what they've published. The game is called Plucky Squire. It's launching on all platforms, including the Nintendo Switch, in 2023. It follows the magic adventures of Jot and his friends, the storybook characters who discovered there's a three-dimensional world beyond the pages of their book when a villain kicks them out. Players will be able to jump between 2D and 3D worlds in the action-adventure while solving puzzles, boxing badgers, and even flying around on a jetpack. It's really hard to describe this. Please watch the trailer.
The trailer is great.
Is it like Reverse Paper Mario?
Kind of. It
looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful game, and honestly, like, good for him. Like, what the old adage is, you'll never get rich working for somebody else. So, like, start your own thing, make your own stuff. Awesome. Like, he got a ton of great experience. He's going to turn that into his own great company. Hopefully, I'm like, cool.
It is so. Like from the screenshot of the Plucky Squire to the characters to the everything in the screenshot screams his art style. Yeah. And if you followed him on Twitter or Instagram, he has a very specific art style. Mm-hmm. And he has created over 20 Pokemon for the series. He's created Vanillite, Trevenant, Buzzwole, Guzzlord, Poipole, Galarian Zigzagoon line. When I say Poipole, I mean the whole line. When I say Vanillite, I mean the whole line. Mandibuzz, Golurk. He's created over 20 Pokemon. And the ones I just named are the ones we know for sure he created, because he has said that at a certain point. The Pokemon Company was not happy with him and other designers saying what they've created. And I think it's not because I think it's mostly they want. When you look at a Pokemon, they want you to think it came from the same place.
Right.
Not these. And they also don't want people being targeted. You designed Charizard and Eevee. Oh, well, I hate Charizard and Eevee, so I dislike all. It's mostly a protection thing. But if you follow James Turner on Twitter or whatnot, and you've seen his art style, it's very specific. It's very simple, clean, thicker lines kind of stuff. And the whole like adventure book is 1,000,000% his art style, the title screen and everything. There is if you dig it a little bit deeper and you go to the Twitter for all possible features and you see the people that they're following, you can find like the other designers and developers, and there's like I think it's like a team of 6 right now. Good for him. The game looks great.
Yeah.
It looks like a day one purchase for me. It looks like a very adventure game. I don't know, like Zelda adventure game. I don't know. It kind of looks a little linear, but that's based off like a 2-minute trailer.
Yeah, it's really hard to say from the trailer how much back and forth, like, because they kind of make it seem like you'll be going back and forth between the book and the other worlds, like, but the trailer doesn't really show that because it's like the reveal trailer of what it is. So I honestly don't know what to expect from the game. I'm not gonna say
it did what a lot of trailers haven't done for me in the last 2 years, which is sell you on the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's a platformer, I'm out because I don't like platformers.
Yeah, that's my worry too. I'm very bad at platformers.
I'll wait to see what it is, but like, I'm actually like marking it to be like I want to go and see what this is when it actually comes out because I'm interested in this game.
I like puzzle platformers. I don't like time. Like I'm not a Metroid, but I am a Limbo.
Ooh, I like Limbo.
It's a platformer.
Yeah, I'm not big on platformers in most iterations.
It is wild to me though that he left Game Freak. I think that's kind of a big deal, and it was funny because there was a person in my stream who you could just. I very in the 5 years of me streaming on Twitch, it's very obvious when there is a very young person in your Twitch stream because they talk in a very specific way. Or they type in a very specific way. It could be that, English is not their first language, but the history of what they said in the past, they were like, I don't see how this is a big deal. I've never heard of James Turner, and then they like. I think it goes back to the Masuda thing. I think an average Pokemon fan you're right, this doesn't affect them at all. But we are not making a podcast for an average Pokemon fan. I think somebody who has the first non-Japanese person who has designed over 20 different Pokemon, the first non-Japanese person in position of power at Game Freak to be an art director, leaving Game Freak, I think is a pretty big deal for
I agree.
Our audience. And I don't think there was any ill will based on like him making the Quaxley tortilla chip and grass cat art and all that stuff. Like he was really excited around the launch of Scarlet and Violet, which you would think that he was the art director for Scarlet and Violet because that was not talked about. Like his name doesn't appear at all in Arceus Legends. His name appears all over the Crown Tundra, Isle of Armor, Sword and Shield, obviously because he was the art director there. And because Scarlet and Violet has been worked on ideally since Sword and Shield finished, there's probably no doubt that he didn't help with the start of Scarlet and Violet.
Probably not, yeah.
And I look at specific Pokemon like Quaxley, and that looks like a James Turner Pokemon.
I agree.
There's just he makes like if you look at Plucky Squire. And you see some of the stuff, you're just like, and then you look at other Pokemon. Like there's the Zangoose or whatever, the badger you see in Plucky Squire.
Oh yeah.
Looks like Obstagoon. Mm-hmm. And there's the little bugs that appear kind of look like his style for Buzzwole and Poipole. Like it's really hard to explain, but like
he has a very distinct style,
and Quaxley fits that style.
You can see the parallels, for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's not like he left Game Freak and was like, I'm gonna put Obstagoon in my game.
Right.
Like it's just no. He like draws in a specific way.
So I'm curious why you think it's a huge deal.
I think it's a huge deal in the sense of, why wouldn't the Pokemon Company want to keep him?
Well, that's not
Or why-
necessarily
That's
their option.
It's not their decision.
Sure, but like I feel like if you have, if you're like the Johnny Ives of Apple, you want to probably do everything possible to keep Johnny Ives. I mean, like, right? Or you want to keep the Tim Cooks, or you want to keep these people that are.
No.
See, that doesn't. That's not an apples to apples, right? Tim Cooks is operations, and if you want to be the head of operations for one of the largest technology companies in the world, then yes, you stay at Apple. Johnny Ives is creative, and if he says, I have reached my limit of what I can do creatively at this company, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at him or whatever. He's like, I want to do creative things because that's what I'm passionate about. And if James Turner is like, I've mined my Pokemon design, mind empty, I've got nothing left in that. It doesn't. He's like, he wants to do creative things. He's clearly made enough money that he doesn't need money.
You would think that their gear project would help out with that. Like, hey, we don't want to lose you. We'll put you on a gear project. Why wasn't Plucky Squire a gear project thing like Harmonite was, which he worked on Harmonite, or Tembo the elephant,
got
which
all their input on it, which he doesn't necessarily want.
There's a lot of things, right? Like, one, when you work for a large corporation, you don't own that stuff. It's not yours. And if you want to make something that's yours, but you're just like, this is what I want, and I want it to be my way, and I don't want it to be by a committee, you're never going to get that in a corporation.
That's true.
Two, I was watching with a bunch of people who are non-native Japanese speakers who talk about how hard it is just to advance in Japanese companies because you're always having to translate. You don't have the same social connections. Even if you're fluent, there is always a barrier there that's going to limit your abilities. And that is just a reality of anybody who works in two languages, that there's always going to be a barrier there, and whether they can compensate it for as much as they can, but ultimately you may just hit a point where, like, I don't feel like I can actually get to where I want to be in this company because there is this barrier that we've limited as much as we can, but we'll never eliminate. That's a factor. It also could be, I just want to own something of my own. I want to be able to just do this on my own. And a lot of companies have, especially if you're in the same field, they're not going to let you make a side project. They're not. Mm-hmm. You're not going to put out a competing game while you're working for a game company. It's a conflict of interest.
Well, heck, like, right? Nah. Even at American universities, anybody who is a professor at an American university has to sign a contract that says any intellectual property you create while you are a professor here belongs to the university. Does not belong to you. And it doesn't matter if I'm a psychology professor and I write a book about astrology. That astrology book belongs to the university. Yep.
I just think he clearly did something right. He clearly he pushed past those barriers that these old Japanese companies put up. Like, he was the first non-Japanese person to make a Pokemon. That's a huge deal. Like, there's probably millions of people out there that want to make Pokemon, that are drawing Pokemon right now. I mean, just go to DeviantArt. They're out there. And somehow he did it. He was the one that got through. Mm-hmm. He was the one that moved up and became the art director of the entire project. So, like, I completely agree with you. There's, like, language barriers. Even if you know Japanese fluently, there's still, like, slang. There's still, like, you're still seen as, like, a non-Japanese person. There's still the struggles. But he did it. He somehow figured out how to get through all of that and make it to a very high position at Game Freak. And he seemed very happy, and I'm sure he was. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to be like, oh, there was probably drama. Like, it probably was fine. He was probably just like, I'm ready to move on.
Absolutely, but also like the other things, like other things that we don't know. I got to the level that I can get to. I fought through everything, and I don't want to keep fighting. Like, there's so many reasons why people are like, I want to branch out on my own. That I think, one, it's great that he got as far as he did because we got a lot of great stuff out of it. Two, I'm happy he's starting his own thing, that he's going to continue making the products that he wants to make. Three, it clearly seems like he left on good terms.
Yeah.
And four, he showed that other people can do it, right? Like, he is the trailblazer. And his decisions after that, I'm happy for whatever choices he makes. I feel like a lot of people are like, this is a dire potent of what it's like to be non-Japanese in the Pokemon Company. I'm like, I don't see that.
I don't see that either.
Who was like very successful and then said, I want to be successful on my own terms. I'm leaving on good terms. I'm very happy, and I can talk to people how I did it, so they can do it too if they wish.
Yeah, I don't see this as like a I don't think like Game Freak or the Pokemon Company is taking a hit. I just think there are definitely people out there that are special that you focus on, and I think like for a lot of Apple people, Johnny Ives was that person before he left Apple, where it was like Johnny Ives changed Apple for the better, and I think James Turner changed Game Freak for the better, and I think, you know, if we look at the history of Game Freak and Pokemon, you know, Masuda will always be talked about. Sugimori will always be talked about. I think James Turner will always be talked about. Amori, I feel like, hasn't gotten there yet. Even though, like, Amori is the one that has been directing all of these games. And maybe because Masuda is stepping out, Amori will be talked about more. But I think Amori is equally talented. Like, I do think Sword and Shield are incredible. And I hope Scarlet and Violet is better. But we'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, like, again, Amori did other games too, and they were just as good. The only maybe the only maybe thing I look forward to in the future in regards to James Turner is after his contracts or NDAs or whatever are over, is he going to talk about his Pokemon process in like 5 years or 6 years? Is he going to be like,
I mean, we can hope so.
Like, you would hope that somebody at Kotaku or The Verge or whatever, when they sit down and talk to him in a couple years about whatever other game he's working on, you would hope that they would know that he has like a Pokemon history and bring up like, so tell me about how you designed Poiple.
Gonna do a master class.
It depends on what the NDAs are, but yeah. I mean, after about 5 years, the NDA should be gone, so we can talk about it, hopefully, if you want.
Yeah, there's no way that there's an NDA that's like, for the rest of your life, you can never talk about how you made
This
vanilla.
is a Japanese contract, not an American contract.
So, anyways, if you haven't seen it, the game is called The Plucky Squire. You should just be able to pop that into YouTube or whatever, and it's like a 2-minute trailer. I think it's worth checking out. It looks really exciting, honestly. I know Summer Games Week was this past week, and it was a lot of horror games, and this was...
Yeah, it really was.
Maybe the one game that actually looked good coming out of it. It looks very cute, very adorable. So yeah, kind of crazy that in the last 2 weeks, 2 big Pokemon people kind of changed things around. I don't think there's anything to worry about. But I think if you follow the Pokemon Company as closely as we do, it is it's interesting. So, anyways, question of the week.
Oh gosh, we're there.
There we are.
My brain has gone completely blank. What is the question of the week?
Okay, we got some YouTube questions here.
We have a lot of YouTube questions from
We got a lot of YouTube questions, and I didn't realize the James Turner and the Masuda thing was going to take so much time. I didn't realize the Pogo stuff was going to take so much time. But we did the Tom about the YouTube, the
Zuelos
Dino
raids.
stuff. Yeah, as wireless raids. All right, here we go. This is from Tyler. I think you guys should get somebody who can talk about the names in Spanish and to some of the theories going with Toro, Sada, Koraidon, and Miraidon. Also, does the future alien guy from Pokemon Go Fest have anything to do with the Scarlet Violet revelations? Also, how's Pride Month going for everyone? Who are your top 3 Pride Pokemon? And that was from Tyler.
I mean, I answered in line on that too.
Ree from GoFest, I don't think has anything to do with Scarlet and Violet. That is very Alola stuff.
Well, the Ultra Recon squad from Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yeah, I guess maybe if you didn't play Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, because that was specific to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, where Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon had 4 Ultra Recon squad people, and they were 2 exclusive to... 2 were exclusive to Ultra Sun, 2 were exclusive to Ultra Moon. They both had the same exact storyline, which was they both had Poiple, and they both end up catching a Furfrou, and they're like obsessed with the Furfrou for a while, which is like probably the highlight of that
Yeah, it's
story.
very good.
And then they lead you to Ultra Necrozma, and that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. It's not a big storyline, but I was wondering, like, people who never played that game, like, you're gonna have
Yeah,
no
I
clue
didn't even
who
think
this
about that until
character is.
Tyler asked the question of, like, what do you mean the Ultra Recon Squad is from... Yeah, but if you never played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you never saw it.
You never saw it. Because I saw it pop up, I'm like, huh, interesting that they've chosen... This, especially since there's a ton of Pokemon Go players who have never played the games. Right? Like, this is probably their first time being introduced to Wormholes, Ultra Recon Squad, the whole shebang.
And, I mean, we covered the 2 legendary names. One comes from the word for ancient. One comes from the word for future. And I don't know if it was in our YouTube comments, but I did see somewhere where somebody said that the 2, we don't know if they're professors or not. The names, one comes from Posada, which means past.
Did we not talk about this last week?
We did.
We did. No, we didn't talk about the roots of their names. We just said that they're not trees.
I mentioned briefly that they had come from
I swear Greg mentioned it really quickly.
I did.
But, it's Posada and Futuro, which means past and future.
Past and future.
Yeah, I mean, that's like every YouTuber's clickbait video that came out last week of like...
There you go.
I broke down these Spanish names. Glad we talked about Ree, and I didn't think about that until the question was asked of like, oh yeah, there was not... People skipped Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, so they probably have no clue who these...
I will say the day that happened, I'm like, okay, cool. People are gonna have no clue who this is.
I like Ree a lot. I think
I do too.
I don't know if we talked about this in the bonus podcast. If you want to listen,
I'm just sad that Professor Willow died.
If you want to listen to the bonus podcast, that is for patrons and for Apple Podcast subscribers. But I think the Go Fest, even though day 2 was a disappointing day, in my opinion, I think that the Ultra Recon Squad storyline was probably one of the best stories that Pokemon Go has told.
That's pretty fun.
I think Ree is really great, and I hope that once Willow comes back, Ree doesn't...
He's not. He's
completely finished.
He got eaten by Guzzlord.
Greg, he's fine.
There's no proof of that. You don't know.
Correction of last week, I said Yu-Gi-Oh! 4D. It's technically Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, where they ride on motorcycles.
To the Shadow Realm with you.
Top 3 Pride Pokemon, easy. Florges, Zarina, Lurantis, because that just rocking those disco pants.
So I'm not gonna pick yours. My top 3 are Hatterene, Sylveon, Roserade.
You guys are putting me on the spot. All right, number 1 is Ekans.
No.
Sure.
Yes.
It's not a dinosaur.
But did you not see the image?
I saw it, but again, you didn't answer this question. It's not a dinosaur.
Definitely Ekans, though.
Look, the only Pokemon that's officially come out is Squirtle. So,
true,
I can't get over that picture of Ekans. It's really great. I was just baiting you into me being able to give you that picture. That was all it was.
I understand what it is to be a straight man. I pretended to be one for 20 years of my life.
On the professor thing, what if that's why their names aren't trees because they're not Pokemon professors? That would be neat. I think we talked about this a little bit, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's possible that they are professors as teachers, but not Pokemon professors. Also, did we mention that I can't remember the lady's name. She has fangs.
Basada?
Zada? Professor Zada has fangs? Yeah.
I feel like that's like a evil trope.
No.
You have fangs.
No, that just means the wild,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's no Buffy there, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know why that reminds me of Buffy.
She's not a vampire.
Vampires
I mean, she could be. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Watch any anime. Just because you have fangs doesn't mean you're the bad guy.
People in anime have fangs for no apparent reason.
Very true. Very
it's
true.
why does this person have fangs?
Oh,
also,
I guess I don't watch enough anime.
Actors
Correct.
de-age themselves by having their canines sharpened.
This is from Fan Steve and Will and Greg too, but I know you're more excited about this. Do you think Marks will return? What other ways do you think shinies can be special in this game?
Oh, that's all you, buddy.
Yeah, I guess for those that don't know, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, they introduced something called marks. There's a bunch of different kind of marks. There's marks based on weather, based on time. There are personality marks, which are a little bit more rare, but they're just random. And then there's the rare mark, which is the rarest mark. So ideally, when you catch a Pokemon in Sword and Shield, there's a chance for a mark to appear. In the sense of a rare mark, it would be a 1 in 1,000 chance for it to be on a Pokemon. And then for a personality mark, it would be a 1 in 100 chance for it to appear on a Pokemon. So ideally, when you stack that with the fact that you could find shiny Pokemon, let's just say you don't have any charms, to find a shiny Pokemon is 1 in 4,000. When you catch it, then you could check to see if it has a mark. And then there is a 1 in 100 chance it could have a personality mark and a 1 in 1,000 chance it could have a rare mark. So realistically, a 1 in 4,000 Pokemon with a 1 in 100 chance of having a personality mark would be more rare than a 1 in 8,000 Pokemon that you would find in Ruby and Sapphire, because of how those percentages have to times against each other and what your odds are for that. So for the small but very vocal fan base of I hate that they made shinies too easy, I like to full odds hunt, etc., they did make it where in the newer games, yes, you could method hunt, yes, you could get the shiny charm, yes, the odds are not as high as 1 in 8,000, but while adding marks to these Pokemon, you have now made a more rare, I guess is probably the best way to put it, more rare Pokemon in a situation of, a shiny coughing with a rare mark would be more rare than a 1 in 8,000 coughing from Pokemon Crystal, ideally, right? And then the games, obviously, Sword and Shield introduced the shiny. Sword and Shield has the shiny charm, and then Sword and Shield, the DLC, has the mark charm, which both of those add +2 to each roll. So instead of 1 in 1,000 for the rare mark, it would be 1 in 333. Still incredibly rare. I'm pretty sure a 1 in 1365 plus a 1 in 333 is still more rare than a 1 in 8,000. I think drastically more rare, I think, if you do the math together. Anyways, I think marks are great. I think marks are the thing that shiny hunters have always asked for but refuse to ignore, which is how can we make a more rare shiny? They do make more rare shinies. And they are fun to hunt. You could, even if you didn't care about shinies, you could get a personality mark for all your favorite Dreadnoughs or all your favorite Roserays or all your favorite Runerigises. You could mark hunt and just get different personalities for your Pokemon. So it adds more to the catching. And then, marks did not exist in Legends, but Legends had alphas, so that was like a more rare, I'm doing air quotes, shiny of like, yeah, I have a shiny Badoo, but I don't have an alpha shiny Badoo. So like that would be a more rare shiny. So yeah, I hope that comes back in Scarlet and Violet. I think marks are like an easy thing to return. I think it only adds value to the game. That isn't something like contests where you have to like build new contests. I think it's pretty easy to move those going forward. I don't know. I'm not creative enough to know what else they could do to make. I guess the size thing, like, oh, I want to catch a small one, I want to catch a big one, I want to catch a medium one. I guess that's like okay. They can be seen visually. The thing that I would want to come to Pokemon games is what they did in Magikarp Jump. I want a blue Magikarp. I want a gray Magikarp. I want a silver Magikarp. I want a pink Magikarp. I think that would be really cool.
And with the close of that 5-minute monologue by Steve, I now put an official 6-month moratorium on any questions about marks, ribbons, or curry. That is, you may not ask any questions about marks, ribbons, or curry on this program until December 11th, 2022.
So
you do.
Also, but you can talk about tapas, because tapas will be the new curry in the new games.
Although I hate tapas.
Really?
I like the food. I hate. We're getting it deep into the Will Anderson lore here. Don't ever go to a restaurant with me and ask to share my food. The answer is no. And if the intent of the restaurant is that the food be shared, I'm not going to that restaurant.
Final question here. I know there's a lot of questions. Trying to get through this. Mittens asks, for next week, I would like to know which Galar Pokemon you three would like to be in Scarlet and Violet. I'm specifying like the Galar, like the
Bolton.
Which Galar Pokemon do I want to be? Snow. My little Snowmy.
I'm going to say Cramorant, but if I can't say Cramorant, I would like to see...
You can say Cramorant. It's a Galar Pokemon.
Yeah.
Stonejourner.
Yeah, I was going to say Stonejourner's pretty cool.
We know Stonejourner's in there already. So, like, I remember you said that like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, but we already know. It's in the media.
Yeah, I would probably say Ice Cube. Ice Cube would be great.
Yeah, Ice Cube would be cute. But I still want Bolton.
Yeah, I would. I want Yamper because its ability is so good.
Its ability.
Like, you would always want to shiny hunt with Yamper, just literally based on its ability.
Although new Pokemon can get that ability.
That's true, yeah. If they, who knows? Maybe Lechonk has Ball Fetch.
Ooh, it didn't say so on the. Maybe it's its hidden ability.
No, they've got to have a deep cut Pokemon of Belle and Sebastian, and I don't mean the band.
Yeah.
They've got to have a Poochie that evolves into a Belle.
Pokemon of the week.
Oh, dang. All right. Last week's Pokemon, blah, 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 has something to do with being between Super Nintendo Entertainment System and a GameCube, but also after a year and a half of being eligible to be printed on a Pokemon card, it still hasn't been.
I have no idea. I forgot to write it down. It's
Rotom.
No.
It's Alakazam.
You're close. So Kadabra is number 64 in the Pokedex, and Kadabra got able after Uri Geller finished his lawsuit.
I forgot which one it was. I forgot it was the Kadabra.
Yeah, that's why I said you're close. It's Kadabra. But it was a trick because it kind of sounded like a Sword and Shield Pokemon that hadn't been printed on a card yet.
In the Pokemon Red and Blue beta, Kadabra was known as Pocus.
That's a bad name.
Hocus Pocus, Alakazam.
Yeah, it's still a bad name.
So would have Abra been Hocus?
Yes.
Do you know what Mr. Mime's Japanese name is? Barrier, and it's pretty good. Better than Mr. Mime. Pocket Monsters Encyclopedia says that Kadabra's Pokedex entry from Pokemon Red and Green is a reference to an in-universe novel transformation that won the second Pokemon Literary Award. What does that even mean? What trivia is this? Pocket Monsters Encyclopedia?
I've never even heard of that.
1996. It was a field guide. Localization. Oh, okay, whatever. It was bad trivia. We talked about Kadabra not being printed since Sky Ridge.
It's got a great shuffle icon and a good shiny.
From Generation 4 and onward, the Everstone fails to prevent Kadabra from evolving by trade. Not sure why that is. In Pokemon Crystal, a bug caused the capture formula for Heavy Ball to be incorrect. And then that incorrect was because of the Pokemon weight, giving it a plus 40 catch rate modifier. This also affects Tauros and Sunflora. We could do a whole episode about how nothing actually worked in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Everything in that game was
except
incredibly
for the joy of playing the game.
Bad shiny.
Shuffle.
Shuffle's great.
Okay.
I like the shiny too.
Oh, it's bad.
Why is it bad?
It's just a bad yellow.
It's not a green.
Yeah.
I would rather it be green. It would be at least noticeable.
It looked like it was sick from
All right.
eating too much.
This week's that's why it's spoon melted.
Uh-huh.
This week's Pokemon. Originally, I was going to do a different Pokemon, but I had already done it within the past 2 years, so I couldn't do that one. So this fossil Pokemon that recently became available is the only one of its type that a Pokemon introduced in the same generation it was introduced in got an alternate form recently that had the same types but switched. By recently became available, I mean you can get one without having to evolve into it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for making it to the end. We will be back next week. Although I will be at the Milwaukee Regionals next week, so I don't know when we're recording this. We'll figure that out.
Let's just do it tomorrow.
We could probably maybe record on Wednesday afternoon. I think that's usually when we have recorded before trips. So yeah, I'll be at the Milwaukee Regionals. If you will be there and you want to say hi, cool. I would like to say hi to you. I am no longer going to the North America International Championships, but I will be at GoFest in Germany. So excited for that, at least. Speaking of traveling to Milwaukee Regionals, the idea here is to stream the drive from Minneapolis to Milwaukee. My friend Steph is coming in, so we'll be doing like she'll probably try to teach me Spanish for 5 hours. But we're gonna use the stream backpack. We're gonna mount it in the car. I won't be looking at chat because I'll be driving, and that's per Twitch TOS. I'm not allowed to look at a phone when driving, but Steph will have chat, so she'll be able to read it and respond, and I'll be able to respond to what she reads out loud. That is assuming that everything works. And the reason I'm telling you this is because we're going to do a test stream on Wednesday night where Steph and I go to the new Taco Bell that has the like drop down. Greg, you know what I'm talking about? The like Taco Bell that like drops down the food. The first one ever.
Is that here?
It's here. It's in. I don't remember what city it's in.
I'll find it. Don't you worry.
Okay. For those that don't know, Taco Bell did a brand new store where the restaurant is on the second floor, and then you go through. There's 4 drive-throughs, and then the food drops down. But there's no, like, you can't go into the restaurant. It's just they built the restaurant above the drive-through to drop the food
so
down.
I've got to have Panic at the drive-through. Great.
And the concept is that you're not in the drive-through for longer than 2 minutes, which is probably impossible right now because everyone wants to go to see how it works. It's just Taco Bell. But we're gonna do a test stream on Wednesday night. So if you want to join us on Twitch for the Taco Bell stream, that will be Wednesday night to see if everything works in the car. And then the drive stream will be on Thursday. And then I'll be streaming probably just Pokemon Go on Sunday because I will lose the tournament on Friday and then, stream Pokemon Go for the weekend. So that's the plan. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making it to the end. I'll be practicing for Milwaukee this week on Twitch, so we'll be doing some competitive battles. Greg is at White Wing. Will is at Washing the Sink. I am at Dragging a Lake. If you want to follow the podcast on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, PKMNcast. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super shiny rare spawns on Pride. They will be rainbow themed. They're changing all the colors. Deino will be hot pink. I'm excited for it. None of this is going to happen. Why do they ruin my Pride all the time?
Hog Rider.
Hog